Let's get reaction from retired U.S. Army General Keith Kellogg. General, first off, how long can these protests keep up? That depends on the will of the Chinese people. And then the second question would be, how tight of a rule and a hammer is Xi Jinping willing to bring down on his own people, even if it does risk his political standing?
Yeah, Cheryl, thanks for having me. Look, it's not dependent on the protests themselves. It depends on the will of President Xi and the military and his willingness to use it. We saw something like this happen about 40 years ago with Tiananmen Square, and the protests were much larger, but he used the military to strike it down pretty hard. When he starts bringing in just not the riot police, but he starts bringing in the military, he can shut this down, and I think we have to understand that. Where what we need to do is we need to, one, use the bully pulpit of telling the world and Americans that this is an autocratic regime that is cracking down on people wanting human freedoms, and we should use that. What Spokesman Kirby did yesterday was kind of just whitewashed it. The second thing we need to do is we need to really think hard about strategic decoupling of our economy with the Chinese economy, because they know that how important that interface we have with their economy and our economy, and how much we depend on it. Look, most of the stuff we get out of China, it's cheap stuff, and they know that. When you look at what China did, their GDP has grown before COVID 9% a year for the last 4 decades. When you look after they came into the World Trade Organization in 2001, because of what we did, their economy has grown, and they've used that growth of their economy to actually challenge the West, challenge the United States, not only in the Pacific region, but also globally. So there's a connection between what you're seeing, even though this is really not an economic disruption, that we saw a lot of it in Tiananmen Square, but it's based off COVID. It's the same kind of relationship that Xi has had with the people, which is autocratic, and he can crack down if he wants to. If he wants to, he'll bring in the military. That's what broke Tiananmen Square, and that's what can break this demonstration.